You read it to her?
No. And I really doubt that he wrote that in his own words. That's clearly out of a magazine or something.
That is his handwriting?
Yeah.
Okay, next, Emma says Jenny has a temper that flips like a switch. She says Jenny can't control her rage and is worried that Lee not only sees it, but might get the brunt of it. We'll be right back.
Regular. Music. Go on to golf.
Nice. Tape bump in.
When have I ever said that he'll be at Christmas or Thanksgiving?
You said that at my house one day, and I said, not at my house, he won't.
No, I've never said that.
And later,
Jenny gets angry. She curses, rages, out of control. In Lee's presence, Jenny has a tendency to abuse alcohol because of her unhappiness.
I feel like I'm a good mom because I would never, ever turn my back on my children, ever.
Tomorrow on an all-new Dr. Phil. From nurse's aide to living in her car.
I didn't put myself in this position.
She thinks there's a conspiracy.
Everybody was starting to act weird. The lady at the rent-a-car.
what's the common denominator?
I'm not good at fractions.
That's tomorrow.
I can relate to Jordan having to not be able to raise his daughter. I placed a daughter up for adoption when I was 15 years old, so I can be compassionate with Jordan because I always wanted pictures of my birth daughter. Lee is absolutely beautiful, so very smart. She's just really excelling in life. Though Jordan doesn't deserve to know how Lee's doing, I am super proud of Lee, and I feel like it brings him some joy in a situation where there is no joy being in prison.
Well, Emma says Lee needs to be in a safe home with no communication to her abuser, not incoming, not outgoing. And I agree with what you're saying, particularly when I hear what he's saying, because he's saying, we need to do this my way. So it's not like I'll listen to anybody because my judgment is obviously the worst in the history of the world, so I'll listen to anybody. That's not what he's saying. He said, no, I know best. I'm going to do this my way. They try to tell me, but I'm going to do this my way. So it doesn't sound insightful or remorseful to me whatsoever. And he's still showing signs of impulse control issues. Would you agree with that?
Yes.
He's writing letters and talking to Lee, which is clearly in violation of the restraining order, whether she gets them or whether she doesn't. One of those, he wrote he wants to kill his father in a letter. He's in a gang in prison. He's been in multiple fights. He beat up a child molester. He's showing a lack of impulse control in a highly structured environment, which I can tell you would predict really poor impulse control in a less structured environment. In a letter that was from Jordan to Jenny, in terms of not taking accountability, he said, but it's not my fault. It's not my blank fault that I have so much anger and emotions. It's not my fault that I'm PDD or whatever I have. It's not my fault I was abused. It's not Lee's fault that what I did to her. It's not my fault that I went through the I went through. It's nobody's fault but their own. And it's not my fault when the day comes I decide to kill my dad. It's not my fault that I do what I do. Those are the kind of writings that you find after somebody's gone and shot up a place. This is not a stable individual.
No.
And
Never has been.
just in my opinion. And this is what I do for a living. There's anger and a lack of impulse control. And those two things equal things like stomping a baby, killing somebody. This is high risk.
Very.
And your concern is that she is keeping the door open to this child.
Well, he becomes eligible for consideration for parole in August of 2020. My concern is that he'll show up on her door, that he'll be allowed in, that he'll be allowed to have contact with Lee. What I would like is assurance from Jenny that that won't happen, that she will keep him away from Lee. That's all I want. I just want Lee to be safe. I want her to be safe and happy and protected. And I just don't feel like Jenny has given me that. You know, she's told me on numerous occasions that he's going to come to Christmas and he's going to come to birthdays. And